What if TPE Network never existed? I'm your host, Hank Davis, and I am joined by John. John, how are you?
I'm sad now because I'm trying to think of what would it be like without TPE. I wouldn't be able to have any place to rant.
No ranting allowed, right?
Yeah. I mean, how else would Alex and I be able to get all this randomness that we've been absorbing for like over our lifetimes out?
Right.
Yeah.
PhDs.
Look, without this outlet, I would be driving my wife insane.
That is fantastic. I love it. I love it. She's like, just go somewhere.
Yeah. No. And what she does is she just nods. I'm like, you have any idea what I'm talking about?
She has no idea. She's like, no. And those of you watching us on YouTube, I am wearing the glorious purpose t-shirt. I absolutely love this t-shirt. I
That's
love it.
that's a nice shirt, man.
I love it. And so many other people apparently love it too because they've been selling pretty well, even though Loki is over. We still have shirts available. tbnetwork.com. Click on the store button. Well, shall we ponder what if T'Challa became a Star-Lord?
Yes, let's please do.
Let's get into it. So we get the start of Guardians. It's basically that same kind of dancing into the get the Power Stone. Well, they didn't even know what it was at that time, correct?
No.
Okay. Except instead of Ronan's man Korath being, a brutal killer, he's fanboying out for Star-Lord, this version of Star-Lord.
Well, and I mean, I find it funny because this just goes to show like the type of character that Black Panther T'Challa is, and to basically change everyone's opinion. So, it's funny you do that comparison, and because in the movie he's like, who, and then you do this, you're like, oh my gosh, you know who this is, guys? Put your guns down. Look, I got the shirt on.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't know how I felt about Korath being such a goofy character. I know it's a what if, but I was just like, man, he should be hardcore in every timeline that you're on.
Well, no, but he is hardcore. This is like, an idol to him. So yeah, he's just starstruck. He doesn't know how to act because all of a sudden he's now roped into part of the group. And I mean, it's you're right. He's goofy, but I can understand it. It's like he's with his hero and he has to try and hurt him, but he doesn't really want to because it's his hero. So
I love when Yandu shows up. A Ravager never travels alone. I love that part. That was really fun.
No, and that's very reminiscent of like, going into original Guardians of the Galaxy because, nothing ever happens on time like it's supposed to.
No, ever, never. And then this Star-Lord wants to use the Power Stone to help out a dying planet. And I was like, this is how you write a what if. You make it completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of what and I like how they were like, what is that like thing that you said was from Earth? So the Robin Hood. So funny that they even have the Robin Hood stories in Wakanda. I'd actually think that they would have done their own type of thing like that. But yeah. No, I mean it's that's what they're doing. Robin, I mean they changed their ways. They went from being thieving pirates to being outlaws that steal from the rich and give to the poor.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah, same here.
So we get a flashback of T'Challa and T'Chaka talking about T'Challa's desire to explore. And then that's when Yandu had two Ravagers go grab Ego Spawn, but they grabbed the wrong kid. That was really funny how they did that scene.
Yeah, like, well, he's got two ear holes and a mouth hole.
but what's goofy about that scene, though, is they do too, even though they're aliens.
Yeah.
They always look. I had a friend years ago. He said he hated that I think he said on Star Trek, he hated that they always had the human form, but they had different faces and stuff. He wanted them to be totally, totally different.
Well, they are. The Tholians are, but it's a lot of money to put together a Tholian suit, considering the fact that they're like a rock creature that is a quadruped. They have four. They have four. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
Interesting.
but yeah, this is you realize that right. Oh, I got to get this right. Boop, boop, boop. That was Taserface and ended up picking him up. So that's probably part of the reason why they got the wrong person.
Right. It messes up your face a little bit. 20 years later.
Okay, so how old is he now? Is he 27, 26? How old do you think he was when he was picked up?
He looked real small, like 6 to 8, somewhere in there.
Okay, that's what I was guessing too.
Okay. I love when they're having their Ravager party and Thanos shows up. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
That was unexpected and
Yep.
cool.
And pats him on the back and was like, and after I had my talk with him, we were just like, see, look what kind of person he is. He talked Thanos off of the cliff.
But it's still efficient.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I like that. I like how he keeps on like into this entire thing, just basically pushing the, hey, genocide. It still works. It's still a
It
good
worked.
idea. It still can, solve all the problems until they start talking about the MacGuffin of the episode.
Right. Now, here's one thing this is the second thing I didn't like of the episode. Drax is the server and wants to, he's like, the money's no good here. And then it's selfie time. And it was kind of funny, but it wasn't Dave Bautista doing the voice. And that was a fail for me. It was Fred Tatasciore.
Well, I mean, and I'd have to agree with that due to the fact that I actually went through all the credits to catch. I'm like, oh my God, they really did grab like everybody for this.
Yep.
And that's mind blowing. But to not get Batista, but I mean, isn't he having issues right now with the MCU
Yes.
or with Disney? And so, I mean, I'm not going to say that I am on his side because I really don't know the full story behind it. But I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's what he had 2 lines in it, really, maybe maybe 3 in total.
Right. Yeah,
Yep.
wasn't a big deal, but I guess it's just disappointing because it would have been great to have just every single person on there.
Yeah.
Nebula
But
shows up and we find out that, well, allegedly that Wakanda was destroyed. Oh, we'll come back to that though.
yeah.
And Nebula wants him to get the embers of Genesis, and then we have to, they're gonna have to get that from the collector. And Yondu is like, "Oh no, not when that dude's involved. No way, no how. That's not happen." And this is when they drop the line Robin Leach. And do you remember wasn't Robin Leach the lifestyles of the rich and famous or something?
Yes. Yes.
So I was like, that's a pretty good, of kind of a funny callback, so to speak.
Yep, and this, I mean, putting together like the bar heist thing again. I mean, it's very Ocean's 11, and it's actually fun to see like a plan that is planned out actually do exactly what it's supposed to do.
True. Yes. So on Nowhere, uh, the collector has the Dark Order as guards.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, they concoct their plan to get in there. And I was like, this is gonna be great if it works the way it does. And what did you think about Thanos and Korath uh, getting into getting into the scuffle to distract Proxima Midnight and all of them?
No, okay, I was good, and I'm not gonna say this is an issue. This is more something that I would have liked to have been addressed if Thanos was still in the process. We don't know whenever the Black Order ended up working for Thanos. As far as we know, they've always been with Thanos for eons. So if Thanos changes his way, they're like, oh, we got nothing to do, we'll go work for the Collector. And if that's the case, then while they're beating the bejesus out of Thanos, you think that they would be dropping lines like "you changed" or "oh, why did you go good" or something like that? And they didn't do that, which makes it seem like they know who he is, but they don't know him. And as in a person. So I wish there was something there, because I mean Thanos is the one, when they're discussing it, he's like saying that, yeah, these guys are, you don't want to mess with these guys, meaning he knows more about their capabilities than everybody else there, which again leads me to believe that they worked for him at one point in time, and then everything changed. So it's it's just something that I wish was addressed, and that's all he had to say. One throw out line. They used to work for me. That's
Yeah.
it. And then they would have helped. They made sense. But in that case, I would see them putting a hurt on Thanos even more so, because maybe they can feel like he abandoned them or something or whatnot. So yeah, the whole interaction between the Black Order and Thanos there, I feel that we're missing something.
Okay. And do you think, even though this is a different thread, this is a what if, they still should have followed that, trope of them working with him?
Well, I mean, it's no, not necessarily. I'm just saying that he addresses them as as he knows more about them. We know that they work for him in the normal MCU, and they've worked for him forever. So let's see. We figured out that we're gonna say, we'll say he's 28. We'll go the high road. But so that means that probably within the last 10 years, he had to have these dealings with Thanos to be able to change his mind. So that means that the Black Order has been working for him all the way up to like 10 years ago, and now they don't work for him anymore. So that means that I would feel that they'd have a grudge, because as far as we know, everything up until that time frame should still be the same.
Right.
So I mean, it's never addressed how long they work for Thanos, but it's we know that all of them have very long lives. So if that would make it seem that they did. So anyway, in my head, I feel that they used to work for him, and now they work for the Collector, because now the Collector is the high roller in the galaxy and Thanos is not. And because of that, I would feel like they would have maybe put a hurt on Thanos even more so, or at least threw out some one lines, basically like, you betrayed us, or or you're a failure of something, just something simple like that. It would help connect them. But if they're not doing that, then how would Thanos know more information about them? And I don't know. There's like a little bit of this what if that it would make more sense if they threw out like a one liner just explaining, being like, I don't know. I mean, I've never worked with them, but I know of them, or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah. It sounds like you're asking, why if?
But
So,
not who if,
how if?
but where if.
And that's all she wrote, folks.
Well, I mean, actually,
when if?
or nowhere if.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Inside, we have Yandu and the Collector talking about how different the Ravengers used to be, and while T'Challa walks through the Collector's collection. And what's the space dog's name? What is his darn tootin' name?
Cosmos.
Cosmos. I couldn't remember for the life of me. I've had too much going on to research it, so thank you. So
Yep.
Cosmos is in there, a dark elf, or actually a lot of dark elves, it appeared. And then Howard the Duck. Oh, I know Wayne Henderson from MediaVoiceovers.com and the Packers Fan Podcast probably marked out, because he loves him some Howard the Duck.
Oh, and listen, the entire we'll circle back around to this, because this interaction is gold and automatically screams, make a show out of me.
Outside, the Dark Order, they know it's a trick, and T'Challa's necklace activates a Wakandan ship that he stumbles across, and we see that message from T'Chaka, and that was a heartfelt one. But Nebula double crosses them allegedly. Did you know this was fake?
No, I mean, it was Nebula. So, I mean, I honestly thought it was a backstab and not a double backstab, or is it a triple backstab? I don't even know where we're at with that, but there he goes.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like a triple agent. T'Challa and Yandu argue over the lie that Wakanda was destroyed. I thought that was pretty messed up on one hand. That was pretty messed up thing to say, like, just so you get the result you want.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like it made it seem like he went back and saw that it didn't exist. So as soon as that line was dropped, I'm sitting there racking my brain. What in the MCU would have happened that would have destroyed Wakanda like that? I'm like,
Right.
I mean, they wouldn't have done that unless we knew of something, because that was, I mean, it's the point of the what if. Like, we know how everything is supposed to go. And if you're going to change something, then they at least kind of give you some basic details. But like erasing Wakanda from the map without giving any, without us knowing how that could have happened in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very mysterious.
It sounded like one of them earthquakes off the coast
Yes.
could have caused an issue.
And do you know what we do with those earthquakes?
Oh, not handling them is
Yep.
handling them.
Yes.
The Collector wants to dissect T'Challa and strip him of any parts that you could use. I was like, I don't think it works like that for humans, technically.
Well, I mean, they could salvage eyeballs or something like that. I don't know. Maybe our spleens or some aphrodisiac somewhere.
Taser face would eat it.
Oh.
Nebula crosses the Collector, and it was all a big plan all along. And she has the embers of Genesis. So I was like, yay, this is gonna go differently. Yay, I'm excited. I was happy at that point. And when T'Challa breaks out, but is stopped until Karina helps him, did you see that turn coming?
I mean, I'm not going to say definite. I'm going to say like 75%. I mean, why would you pan to her in one of the scenes when he's talking about, freedom for everybody? Because we know that he ends up that she's locked in servitude to him. So it kind of did make sense.
Okay.
But hold on a second. Didn't we? I think even we've skipped by the second time that he's dealing with Howard the Duck.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so like whenever he what's where's this at, and he's like, over here, there, here, this, turn this, and go around here, and he's just like, just come with me, and then he stops at the bar. And he's like, we got to go, but it's happy hour.
And he did not want to leave whatsoever.
And after that is when I was like, I gotta pause and look through all the names, because I'm like, is this really Seth Green doing the voice? I mean, it kind of threw me off a little bit because it didn't necessarily sound like him, but man, oh man, I've never pined over a Howard the Duck series until now, because this is what an alcoholic duck. I don't. It's great, man. It's just funny. And I mean, if you're just gonna slap Seth Green's humor to it, then it's just gonna be even better.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, when T'Challa is able to fight the Collector breaks out all those weapons, and the only ones that I saw initially seemed to be like the Dark Elf knife, Captain America shield, Thor's hammer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which, how did that get set there? Just saying.
So,
and then Hella's headdress, and then what was some of the other stuff?
I mean, there were just some medieval weapons there. I have to go back. I didn't actually get a chance to. I've only watched it one time, but so I was reading an article today in regards to this, because I mean, the Collector is a bad A in the first place, and they did a very good job of portraying him in live action, but like, he didn't do as much of the badness as as he could. He just kind of seemed like an eccentric hoarder more than anything else. And this go around, with the power vacuum of Thanos not being there and him taking over, you get to see, like, this is where he would have gone with himself. And and as powerful as he got, he's able to, I mean, clearly defeat some Avengers and Hela and some Dark Elves, and so I mean, he didn't just acquire those things it's all by himself. He more than likely beat them outright. And but it's just one of those things that we'll never know, because that's what it's there. It's a trophy wall. We just have to speculate that either somebody else did the dirty work and brought it to him, or he did it himself because he wanted to be weird like he is. What were the things on his hands that he was fighting with?
At first I thought, that big stone thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember where that's from. He says he ripped it off some creature or some race of people.
Was it the thing? I wonder if we can Google
And
that.
then what I wanted to double back on was the stuff he was wearing. Didn't that look like the guy that was fighting Iron Man in Iron Man 2? Didn't that look
Uh,
like that out, that little metally type? But I mean, he never broke out any kind of whips or anything, but I just that style reminded me of that.
I mean, no, I mean, this just reminded me of, how eccentric, the character is. So, but I do like the entire, like, sticky fingers. And they're like, well, who's the glue? You're the glue. And I mean, I was like, I'm glad that they're still doing stuff like that.
Right. Yes, that's fun. So can we keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So Thanos buys the Ravager some time as he battles it out. And then Yandu goes back for T'Challa as
Hmm.
Thanos is getting beat down, but Nebula goes back for him. And I was like, why didn't you just both stop and just combo up with guns and punching
Yep. And
in the
that's
first place?
good question. We don't know.
Kind of silly. And then Yandu and T'Challa, like you said, use sticky fingers on
Oh,
him.
they're Korg's arms.
Korg, okay,
All
there.
right, I found something that's giving me the information. So I'm looking at all the weapons now.
Okay.
I mean, it just mentions that Captain America's shield, Thor's hammer, Thanos' sword,
Oh,
possibly collecting some.
I did not see that, I guess.
Thor's hammer and what appears to be Thanos' double-bladed sword. How the collector was able to acquire these incredibly powerful items, who knows? Anyway,
Yeah. Okay. But then when they do Operation Sticky Fingers, they're able to get him, the collector, in the case and leave
mhm.
the armband with Karina, and she lets out all the other prisoners. And he was like, Karma.
And I didn't see that happening. I don't know why I didn't. I thought she was going to do like, like, oh, he's in this prison where I can shock him or something like that. I thought she was going to torture him, not open up all the doors.
Oh, man. He was not looking like he wanted any parts of that.
Which, by the way, I want to point out that, one of his, I guess, relatives in a sense, who would be the master.
Oh, yeah.
That's how he ends up falling whenever at the very end, whenever
Yeah.
all those people like gang up on him. So it
Yeah.
was, kind of interesting how they're doing that, like toss out. I mean, honestly, they probably didn't even like connect those two, but I did.
Nice. Good one. Yondu and T'Challa escape with Cosmo, you said?
Mm. Yep.
Okay. And discuss Yondu lying about, about the Wakanda being destroyed and what the future holds and stuff. That was cool. That was a really good scene. I really like uh, Michael Rooker. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, you know what? And it's funny because most of the time in the movies it was hard to understand him and it always seemed like he was drunk all the time, which is a possibility. But in this, he like I actually did not think it was him. That was
Oh,
another reason why I had to go back and double check all the character people who played it because I didn't think that was him.
he just has a raspy voice.
Yeah, but it was a lot more clear in this show than it was ever in the movies. At
Okay.
least to me, it was like you can understand everything he was saying versus him, like, I guess either slurring or just, I don't know. I just,
Okay.
it didn't seem like him.
Okay. Fair enough. Now we get T'Challa's return to Wakanda, and then he introduces everybody to the Ravengers, and Thanos is still talking about his snap.
Yep. Yep. And that is great. See, picking up women, talking about genocide.
Oh, Dad, I love that. How they had that kind of Nebula in him and stuff.
But hold on, but where is Gamora for all of this?
I
Because
was just gonna say that.
we know that Nebula came along after Gamora.
Yep.
So
I was just gonna bring that up, but that's cool.
yeah.
T'Chaka wants to know, how did T'Challa actually get on Yondu's ship? And Yondu spits the drink out. I'm like, come on, he's telling on himself. I mean, here is the third thing that I don't know. I'm gonna have to reserve this for later judgment because then they show Peter Quill and he has this reunion with Ego, his dad. And that might spell the end of the world, but that's a
Yes.
story for another day. And I thought that detracted from the story, unless they are in fact going to tell that story very soon here.
I mean, it's I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that they left that open ended like that because they could if they ran out of ideas, but they'll never they'll never run out of ideas.
Right.
So, I mean, I was okay with this because that was another thing that was floating through my head. I'd be like, yeah, but I mean, so the Power Stone is in play for all of this, but we know that the second movie was all based on Ego looking for his kids so he can basically expand over the universe. So, I mean, there's nothing to stop Ego now. But at the same time, Ego was basically frying all of his kids because he couldn't find one that was strong enough. And I don't even know if, Quill would technically be strong enough now because he didn't do anything with the Ravagers.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I didn't have the exposure to the Infinity Stone and all of that. I mean, I guess you would think that, yeah, it could do that. But I mean, if anything, I'm glad that they added that because that was a question being like, well, what about all this other stuff that we know that he did? And then Ego shows up. So, but,
Okay.
what if the T'Challa and everyone goes to take out Ego? I mean it seems to be more feasible that way.
Well, see, this is one that I'm gonna have to reserve judgment on, I guess, because if they follow it up, then good. But if they don't follow it up, it kind of detracts from the overall story of this particular episode for me, because
Oh,
I would have just let it marinate. This is what if T'Challa became a Star Lord, not where is Peter Quill. So,
well, yeah,
uh,
but it still goes along with it because if T'Challa became Star Lord, you still have Ego out there, and we know that. So you're
yeah,
right; it has nothing to do with Peter Quill, but we know because of Peter Quill's interactions with Ego that is still out there and supposed to happen.
we'll see.
So I don't know. I agree. If we could have some sort of continuation with it, and watch Ego spread all across the galaxy, that would be kind of fun.
And get killed off by the embers of Genesis.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like, "Ugh." That was a horrible way for which one got killed like that? Was it the what is his name?
I don't.
Was it
I
Black
don't.
Dwarf?
I don't.
Is
I
that his
honestly,
name?
I do not remember.
The big giant one that should have been able to fight Hulk,
No, I can't remember. I can't remember
but
his name either.
they ruined a movie over.
All right, Black Order MCU. Let's see. It is
Yeah,
Thanos.
Black
Black
Dwarf.
Dwarf. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So, um, I'm ready to rate this. Are you ready to rate it? I went first last week.
All right, I will give this a 9. I enjoyed this episode. It was fun and it was great to see that if that character was out in the universe would be a better place. And the other thing too is just showing that Peter Quill was so much of a screw up that, that we end up ah, why why did he start punching Thanos in the face? I mean, God, come on, Quill.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that made my day. Oh, that's funny. I'm giving it a 9 as well. I really loved the episode. That's how you write almost how you write a what if. Just a little bit. They changed 3 things and this is a 10. But I'll give it
Well,
a 9 as well.
I mean, you have to think about it. If it was a little bit longer of a show, they probably could have like factored in our questions and then had
Yeah.
like answers for it. But I mean,
Right.
considering they're trying to hammer out a half an hour show, it makes sense.
We have a piece of feedback from Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
Says, "Hi, Hank and John. You brought up excellent points about how Peggy Carter is always one to think her way through situations. I still enjoyed watching her kick butt and taking names. Of all the people in the room during the super soldier experiment, she was the only one to take the initiative to jump into the machine after Steve was shot. No one yelled, 'I'll be the super soldier.' I'm still processing episode 2 and Chadwick's performance. How far in advance were the voices recorded? Thanks, Elizabeth." Elizabeth Chadwick died August 28th, 2020. And one of the main people on this show said that his lines were recorded about 3 months or so before he died. So Mayish, Aprilish, Mayish, he recorded it. So not too far from his unfortunate passing. Also, she is absolutely right. Wouldn't you think there would have been a lineup of people wanting to be a super soldier?
Well, I think that there were, but the thing is, they didn't have them there. They only had the one because they only had one booth. Besides that, everyone else were like generals and scientists that were like
Yeah,
more or less trying to see if the experiment would work. So I
right,
do understand because if it didn't work, why would you want extra volunteers there? The other thing
right.
too is like, I mean, it's not supposed to, everything that went down clearly was not supposed to happen. So you wouldn't have a line of like, okay, next, get them in there.
Right.
They wanted to see the one and see how he turned out so they could make more.
And serums in comic book movies and comic books in general are always a goofy, forced dichotomy. It's like the serum's gonna we either have the serum or it's gone forever. And it's like,
Well, keep in mind too. I mean, in this case, it's gone forever because where in the movies, there was one vial left over. In this case, there weren't any vials left over. She had it all put back in the machine, and she took everything. So that means there would have been no Abomination because when they made him, they used the last vial. So
oh,
it's just
I,
there's a lot of like things in there that down the road, completely screwed up. Oh yeah, look at that. See,
I gotta give you a gold star for
like this.
all this effort. And then you're pretty much over there having your own little party over there. So I'll just let you have your
Yeah. Hey, it's Hawaiian Shirt Friday. I can't help that.
So, oh my goodness, great stuff. John, anything else you wanted to talk about before we wrap it up?
Actually, I do. I just came across an article yesterday showing that and you know what? Now I don't have her name in front of me. Gemma is going to be in the MCU in Secret Wars.
What?
Yes, she has been signed on to do that.
Henstridge?
Yes. She's going to be added to the roster. Okay, where's your we need like googly eyes for you to pop out, go boing, boing, boing. So
I am ecstatic, dude.
I tried sending you the article, but at work, my Facebook Messenger does not work at all. And so now I've tried to go back and find it, and I can't find it. I have all these, keep finding articles where it says like, oh, it's possible that she could be there. But I mean, the one I said, it was like, nope, she's there now. So keep an eye out. They're kicking all kinds of stuff around for Secret Wars, is it Secret Wars, Secret Invasion? Secret Invasion.
Secret
Right?
Invasion, because Secret Wars is with Doctor Doom, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of them is. They did 2 Secret Wars, but
I think it's gonna be. I think this one that's coming, I think is gonna be.
But yeah, no, it's fascinating that we're these are the things that people wanted, and I mean, why not? She's already an MCU alumni. She's already dealt with all this. Why not bring her back into the fold for this? So I can't wait. And now that we have the multiverse, technically, Agents of Shield is a real thing.
Yes.
So
Agents of Shield.
We can say it's part of the MCU because anything that's part of the multiverse is part of the MCU now.
So we're canon.
Yep.
We are part of the MCU in some crazy timeline.
Yep.
We'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
We just, I mean, I haven't seen anything that confirms Melinda May, but I know that's we want that as well. They should just have pretty much just get the core members.
Yes, why not?
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, I don't know how they're going to handle that due to the fact that who knows? Maybe after the Multiverse of Madness, they'll be like at the end. Oh my God, that would be great. That would be your end credit scene, like the like all of a sudden like a bubble, like whatever, and you've got like Phil Coulson and Gemma Simmons and May and Fitz, and you're like, where are we?
That'd be so awesome.
I mean, that would be a good story right there, because then all of a sudden you've got Nick Fury. He could be like, "You're dead. I watched you die."
You're dead on my timeline.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't go giving me hope like this. Okay.
I mean, just keep an eye out. If I come across that article again, it'll go right to you. Hopefully, I'll
Cool.
see it over the weekend.
All right. Well, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. I needed it today. So
not a problem.
remember, if you have theories, if you have questions, comments, you want to rate the episode yourself, you can send us your feedback after next week's What If airs next Wednesday. And then you have up until Friday, approximately 12 noon Eastern time to get your stuff in. tpenetwork.com/feedback.
Yep. And what if you send it in? We might read it. Probably will read it.
All right. On that note, we're signing off.
TPE Network. There ain't nothing else like it.